I had a chance to speak to the kids before the game, and I know I enjoyed that, and I know you did a great job as well in terms of speaking to them about life.
But the sense of young players needing to use basketball to better their lives rather than letting basketball use them, and that's something that the players have to take into their own hands by maximizing all their opportunities.
Well, as I told them, I don't care who you are, whether you're Bill Walton or Magic Johnson or Michael Jordan, there comes a day in your life, a press conference is called, and the party's over. And you better be able to use your basketball skills and learning about competition, blending with one another. I mean, what's so beautiful, as I said in the room, we have black here, white here, rich here, poor here. Y'all have to learn how to unite together and go on in life after basketball.
James for three. And James still can't hit from outside, and we've got an injured player down on the floor under the basket.
The form,
Marcus Johnson.
The form that LeBron James shows on his moves, I mean, his balance, his discipline, the touch, the shoulder positioning, the footwork. This is a special player.
You know, you mentioned travel. There's been a lot of criticism about the fact that this school now, St. Vincent, St. Mary's, is going to go play in Pauley Pavilion. They're going to go play in L.A. They're going to play all over in terms of Greensboro. They're going to play in Philadelphia at the Palestra.
They're going to play in Pauley Pavilion.
Yeah, Pauley Pavilion, where you did your thing. But let me say this. I did research, and I was ready to take them to task. I found out, you ready for this, guys? They're not missing one day of school.
Wow.
And all the money that's being raised is going to the general fund at the school for the operating budget, not to the athletic department. So from that standpoint, there's some positives out there.
The vast majority of their home games were moved from their smaller gym to the University of Akron, which holds about 6,000, and they'll sell out some of those games. They're attracting bigger crowds. Some of their games, their home games, are even available on pay-per-view here in the state of Ohio.
And that's caught some criticism as you see a three. Also pricing tickets at $50. And I can understand it. Anybody here has a critique of that, you have to respect their opinions. Those are legitimate, good, solid points.
Ivan Harris, by the way, 11 points and 7 rebounds already for Oak Hill.
He's got that special flair about him, James.
Tied at 25, 2 minutes left in the first half here in Cleveland, and here's James. Jumper just not going. Travis with a putback.
He is forcing his jump shot, Bill.
I don't mind that shot at all. I'm a little concerned about Oak Hill not being able to rebound on the defensive end.
Williams, no. Rebound, Travis.
Now if you're St. Vincent, St. Mary's, spread the floor. Give LeBron some room. He'll find you once the double or triple team comes.
He's already got 3 assists. Instead, he settles for the fadeaway jumper and again doesn't get the roll. Travis will shoot a couple, and James visibly frustrated out near midcourt.
Not squaring his body on his jump shot. Hey, I saw you last night with my buddy Brad Nessler, and you were shocked that you were drafted by San Antonio. You didn't know that. How could you not know you weren't drafted by them?
I was a college student. I wanted nothing more in life than to play college basketball.
Great question then for you. Here you are, 2002, and you're dealing with a world of LeBron James. We see the Junction Boys coming up on Saturday.
1954, Bear Bryant took over 100 players into the drought-ridden desert of Junction, Texas, put them through some grueling workouts. Only 35 made it to play for the Aggies. ESPN Original Entertainment presents the Junction Boys Saturday night at 9 following the Heisman Trophy presentation on ESPN.
Hey, Dan, I want to ask my man, Big Bill here. You're in his situation now. They tell you, looks like you're a lock for the first pick. Lock, as they're talking now, shoe deals, $25 million. When I got a shoe deal, Donis Butcher of Converse gave me 3 pair of shoes, and I was elated. $25 million. Bill, do you go to the NBA or do you go to UCLA?
I know what I would do.
James, what a find inside.
Nice, man. What do you do?
I would go to UCLA.
It's easy for you to say now because you don't have that in front of you. $25 million, first pick of the draft.
Depends on what you value in life. I value my family, my friends, education. I dreamed of being a college student athlete. I dreamed of learning from the best. That's what I wanted to do.
I wish that every kid...
My dreams changed when I graduated from UCLA. I wanted to then go to the NBA.
Things have changed, though.
It's a different era now.
Our world has changed. Our world is... Does our world still value education? Does it still value knowledge? Does it still value work?
But you can get your education. What if you were to get hurt, Bill? You got hurt. It cost you a lot of years of your career. The bottom line is you can always get an education. I believe everybody should go to college, but I don't run the system. And the system right now is I think he's an exception. He's an exception to the situation.
He should do what he wants to do.
Right.
It's his life.
I'm going to tell you what does annoy me, though. And what really, really breaks my heart, and that doesn't annoy me, is a kid like a Lenny Cook last year and a D'Angelo Collins. People don't know their names. High school players who went to the NBA draft and were not even drafted, but listened to the wrong people.
Trey Wingo coming up at halftime with a feature on LeBron James, and also Andy Katz will talk some recruiting, and we're getting near halftime, less than a minute away here in Cleveland.
You know, they listen to Omar Cook. I could go on. Marcus Taylor. Kids that weren't ready to be a top 5 pick. But if you're going to be a top 5 or top pick like a Kwame Brown and this kid, and they come from tough times, how do they say no?
It depends on what your motivation in life is, Dick.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And if your only motivation in life is money, then go to the NBA. Some people like different things.
James leaning in, has that shot blocked.
I know one thing, my guy, Mr. Nessler, is ready for broadcasting heaven that he's worked in his career with me and Bill Walton. There's Gloria.
Mom.
He talks about such love for her. They bounced around. She said we were on food stamps when he was young, and then he went to live with the Walker family, who he loves and admires, a youth coach who had him in the 5th grade where he lost, he said, 80-some days of school in the 4th grade, but as the 5th grade on, he learned the value of going to class, and everybody speaks about him being a good student.
Yeah, still spends every Christmas Eve with the Walker family. He's got a tight-knit bunch, and he says, if you weren't with me early, you're not going to be with me now. Because he knows people are trying to hang on.
I like that, Bill. I like that.
Got to get a shot off here. Joyce. Travis. No. And that'll bring the first half to a close. It was all Oak Hill early, but then LeBron James, Bill, as you mentioned, after that dunk, he kind of turned it up a notch.
And as basketball will provide a worldwide stage for LeBron James, he will have to pick a new series of friends, and those friends will determine his ultimate success in life.
And we'll talk about that a little bit more in the second half. A good first half for James. Jay Billis is standing by with the head coach of St. Vincent St. Mary, Drew Joyce. Jay?
Drew, you got off to a little bit of a slow start. It looked like you were relying too much on jump shots. What turned it around for you in the first half?
Well, you know, it's a big game. You know, sometimes you've got to get the jitters out. I think, you know, once we decided to take the ball into the post, we talked about it. Braun realized they had a small guy on him, couldn't guard him, so we just started throwing it into the post, getting the easy ones. You know how that is. You get some easy ones, the other ones start falling. You know, so as long as we keep defending in the half court, we got to shoot free throws a little bit better. We'll be all right.
How about LeBron? He looked like he relied on his jump shot and settled for it in that first half. Do you talk to him at halftime about not doing that in the second half?
Well, yeah. You know, I want him to get to the rack. You know, if I can get him on the line, get him, you know, get those fouls, because you know, we're not deep, but they, even though they got a lot of Division I guys with it, they don't play too many of them.
Well, thanks. Good luck in the second half. Dan, back to you.
All right, Jay, thank you very much. It's a 5-point lead for LeBron James and the Irish here over Oak Hill. Second half coming up soon, but first we're going to send you back to the studio. Trey Wingo with the halftime report coming up next on ESPN2.
Halftime of the Progressive High School Classic, St. Vincent St. Mary's Fighting Irish leading the Oak Hill Academy Warriors 30-25. We are at the break, and welcome in everybody. Trey Wingo here in the ESPN2 basketball studios. More importantly than that score, though, LeBron James, a fairly impressive first half, 13 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. He's got the complete game. LeBron James is not even the leading scorer for the Fighting Irish of St. Vincent St. Mary's, and even with that, this quote from one Western Conference scouting director, quote, "LeBron would have been the #1 pick in last year's draft. That should give you an indication of what kind of talent he is." Clearly, LeBron James has been waiting to explode on the NBA scene for over 16 months now, but exactly who is he? And what can we tell you about LeBron James? Tom Friend with that story.
It's just a dunk on amateur video. Him blowing a rim to smithereens. But it only lengthens the legend of LeBron James.
I'll be amazed by some of the things that I do in the course sometimes.
Goes LeBron on the wing!
To be able to make some kind of shots that, you know, a lot of people can't make, and to make passes a lot of people can't make, but I'll let my coaches and my friends come up to me and say, "LeBron, what's going on with all this? Why are we getting so much exposure?"
Everyone wants to get their hands on him. Nike, Adidas, the Cleveland Cavaliers, his high school teachers. But some things about James need clearing up. first being talk that his head is bloated.
Before I was in the stable house that I'm in now, I had moved at least 7 times in a year. And when I was living where you was talking about, Elizabeth Park, down in the projects, in those hard times, you see everything from crackheads, you know, to drug dealers, to gunshots every night, to police sirens. And I think it just made me stronger.
Another claim